Hi guys, I am back with another edition of today's skill series. This series was in a pause for some time, but have revived the same basis the input shared by you. Last few videos were explainer videos about different areas like performance management, uh, structure, onboarding, etc. This video though is about presenting HR. We all know how it feels when we get to know that on a specified date we need to present to a senior stakeholder like say CEO or business head along with our teams. We typically start thinking what should be put in the PPT, should we put something about activities that we do and have invested our time in, or what will he infer, should he should it be more business oriented, or should it be more like people oriented. What is he or she expecting in terms of the business head or the CEO? What are others doing? I mean, other regional HR heads, if there is other regional HR heads, what are they presenting? What is their feedback? And then if it's good, then we'll also try to do that. Should I take inputs from CHRO? Obviously, if the CHRO would be the best person to say, so should I go and speak to him or her? Would he feel interested while going through the slides? After checking the slides, would they feel okay, the slides were good or not good? Or will he feel that content is not good overall? I mean, the content is mismatching, or something that is not need to be shown, or something very casual has been shown, or something like that. This happens all the time, though. This is not something that is unique to a one individual in terms of thinking all these things. It actually happens with every individual who is having to go for this kind of a review. He may or may not communicate it, but it goes on in the mind. Okay, this happens first time, second time, and every time. So it's kind of a butterfly, you can say, which is always in HR stomach. More so every time for regional HR head or national HR head who is presenting. So it's not like a casual interaction that happens. So usually you keep on thinking on it prior to presenting. In case of the CEO or business head, if they come up and say that your team members also need to present, then it becomes all the more interesting, because the new team member, especially, then he or she keeps thinking about all these points all over again, and they see about how they should go about it, and then they come and start discussing on that. So that is the subject of this particular presentation. Okay. Now, who am I? So I think you know me, but just reminding you. So I'm Udalak Banerjee. Well, I have seen about 9 organizations overall, including my stint as software engineer. Mostly all 1 billion USD plus organizations, revenue holding organizations. So which gives you a kind of a understanding of the scale of the organizations which I have worked in. So I am pass out from NIT Raipur in computer science engineering in 2010, I think, and subsequently PGT HRM from XRI 2012-14 batch. I have worked majorly in a variety of roles, wherein TA, HRBP, and administration were largely always under my role umbrella. I was GMHR in Trident, in Vodafone Idea also, and AVP HR in Ernst and Young, and regional HR head in Pidlite and Dabur. In terms of education, I've also done my CIPD level 7 degree from UK to upskill and better understand European laws, which I feel is a source of Indian labor law. Lastly, in terms of achievements, I think I'm proud to have been selected by the Chief Minister's office in West Bengal as an HR consultant, and being one of 5 shortlisted worldwide in Michael Kelly Awards in London among all students worldwide of CIPD. Yes, I was 99 percentile in CAT and IEEE, but that I would say was long time back. But yes, it was an achievement, and nonetheless, even especially people from colleges they trying to relate to that. So yeah, that was also a point of pride for me, and because there are race of a million people which go for this examination. Now coming to the core agenda. Now, how management looks at HR. Now see, I have been you know a UI client facing consultant in the past. So I have seen both sides actually. So major part of my experience is in line HR only. So as I told you, I have already told you about my career profile. So from that perspective, you can say I have sat on both sides of the table. Okay. So this is my experience. From the perspective that I have had, of working and showing PPTs to CEOs of Dabur, Pidilite, Sham Steel, Trident, for more than say 10 years as HR head or regional HR head in these roles, with entire gamut of HR reporting to me for this entire period of 10 plus years. I can safely tell you that typically all business head, look at HR for majorly four major things. Okay, so it's like vacancy fulfillment, onboarding, policy administration, retention, and cost control. So basically, these are the four brackets. Okay. Yes, it may feel a bit grayish, to talk about cost control, but I must tell you that uh, it is definitely something which adds meat to the balance sheet of the business. And when you talk about balance sheet or expenses incurred, be it employee benefit expense or training expense or anything under the CSR, the board, especially the remunerations committee of the board, always looks for the HR input. And if you know the dynamics of how the board operates, who because the board essentially selects the CEO, so obviously the CEO also will definitely be interested about things which are being driven by the board. So naturally they would also like to look for all these things in the HR presentations that is being shown to him or her. Okay. uh, Overall, obviously, if you talk about the entire agenda is of HR is always about productivity. Okay, so it has to drive the productivity growth. Now, how can HR do it? I mean, I understand that many of you may think that okay, HR doesn't supervise employees like line do. Okay, uh, HR, what HR can do? HR can do is by using systems and processes, induction training for skill development, exit analysis for identifying individuals which that can be retained, employee feedback they should take, and then cost review and policy-based cost administration and expense monitoring and so on. So these all things the HR can do, and they should in the slides that they present, they should always try to come up with their slides in line with these things and their projections, because these are the things which will go on into the way of working for the board also, and also to the CEO, and also subsequently to the entire chain of reporting structure. See, first what comes in the table when you talk about HR to management is recruitment. It is so because fulfillment and regular, sales pressure always demands HR input to sustain, the market uh, which drives sales. Okay. Hence, you will see typically major part of review hovers about recruitment. The fact that most salespeople also in their review somehow want to push the blame of underperformance on HR, so then it becomes kind of critical, and you already know, being a student of HR, what recency bias is. Now, what should you do in recruitment slide? Okay, what I have understood in my life so far is that you need to talk about time to hire, as that shows your efficiency, and also you also need to talk about hiring cost and recruiter productivity, as this shows your team's live output. Okay, whether you are leading the market, or and especially if you're presenting to a very senior stakeholder like the CEO, it becomes very important that you come out in the right side of things, and actually also speak about fulfillment patterns, so that you can foil the other narrative that sales is not happening due to lack of fulfillment. Now, in case your organization does not provide TA, say travel expense or something, for attending interviews, and also does not keep track of cost of interviews, that is recruiter time, and doesn't like such discussion about these things. Then you may replace it with diversity dashboard or source of hire. Source of hire may give some business names, which CEOs may like to talk about. You can talk about sourcing channels also, but again, I don't think that from a CEO perspective, unless the person has a background in that, they typically kind of encourage that. But yeah, as a thing, you can show that also. Okay, but remember, this is just dashboard. You must have an Excel ready to show the data if required and asked for. So don't blame me at that time that I have just showed the dashboard and content which you can, as an option that you can show there, but you have not talked about the Excel. Because sometime during the discussion you may be asked to talk about the live data or the actual data from an Excel. So you have to keep the Excel ready for each of the slides. Okay, so whichever I'm showing here, including recruitment, HR operations, and administration. Okay, so whichever slide I've shown, all of these you should have the data ready all the time. HR operations. Well, this is where I have spent major part of my life, and I believe HR operation is 90% of what HR head's job responsibility is in one single umbrella. Okay, in Mumbai it rains a lot, so I am using umbrella as a term a lot. So don't get agitated with that, please. See, policy utilization is a important metric. People don't talk about it much. You must showcase the same to business head as that this or that you want to say is a direct indication of utility of HR services and SLA. So yes, for monthly review you may not show it, but for annual review you must put this as a in currency. Onboarding metric is a must. It shows how the rigor is, how the trends are moving this year versus last year, and so on. New joiner attrition, top performer attrition, and reasons are again important as it shows your culture. Okay, so if it is high, then you need to reflect and show what action you are doing to change the culture. It can be buddy scheme or a series of awards for supporting best supporting team, or say a mentor award or something like that, along with say a good elaborate program on onboarding with the regular check-ins. You can analyze onboarding rating by new joiner and to understand the issues which you may want to speak about in the review, which will give a good standing to you in front of management also. I mean, please don't think that you know you putting some issues up will backfire on you, because in such reviews as HR head you are supposed to talk about the what is working and what is not working, and how you are trying to navigate what is not working. So don't only try to talk about only good things. Obviously, you have to talk about both things, and they should come out in the data also. And what actions you are doing, then subsequently you can take it forward from that. So lastly, it is about administration. Okay, so administration is something sometimes people don't talk adequately about, but administration is what gives support to HR operations, be it in survey execution or event organizing, be it award show or engagement get together. Administration has a direct impact on cost. So cost has to be there, be it vehicle cost, travel cost, rental cost, electricity cost, and so on. If guest house is there, then utilization needs to be shown, because these things are springboard. You show this, then you can top it up. You can top it up with say suggestions of upskilling for guest house. Say if the utilization is low, then what you are doing to increase it. Say circular for everyone to stay there, survey to identify why people are not staying, what about the location of guest house, what revenue stream can be added to better utilization, and as an innovation. Say you see the guest house, if use the guest house, if not getting used, you start renting a part of it for corporate events. Else you can do a get together or something, and promote it, promote the guest house, if everything is fine and still people are not wanting to stay in it. So those activities and events you can talk about. And then if you're doing anything to balance out the cost, obviously you should talk about that. Vendor management, etc. You should talk about the department wise ratings, cleanliness, cost efficiency, all of these things. If you want to talk about the salary cost versus the administration ratings, you can talk about that also. That will be a kind of analysis. So yeah, you these things, there are one level, two level, three level, four level of thought process that are there. You have to try to incorporate all of these things in the slides, and it will be a lot easier. Now you may say that okay, some things that are put in the slides that which I have shown you or also have talked about, you may not get the data. Then you have to create a mechanism where you get that data first, and then use the data to get the slide. So that has to be done. Lastly, thank you. I have majorly talked about only three things: administration, HR operations, and recruitment, which are broad areas. And there are other areas of HR also, like talent capability and all of these things, which I have not talked about in this particular video. But see, great HR is not about reporting activities. Okay, it is about translating people metrics into business decisions. So that is the core of the whole thing. Yes, you have to measure things. As I told you that for to bring up slides, you have to first measure and get the data first, and create the data, create the hygiene so the data gets captured. So that's also a critical challenge. So those things you have to create first. You have to measure, then interpret, and then obviously relate it with the impact. So these three buckets has to be there in the end. So that is something which is important. If you have any comments, you have any suggestions, please feel free to put it in the comment box. I will definitely try to incorporate in the next video and come back again with the next edition. Thank you.